So, welcome to the team call. We are Sunday, the 1st of March, and I can't believe it. We're approaching spring. Feels like yesterday it was just like freezing cold, and I can't believe like in 6 weeks our local swimming pool is going to open for the summer for the kids to go and swim outside, which just seems completely bonkers to me. But today, the topic of the call is going to be all about mindset, which you guys all know I'm crazy about it. I think most of you guys are crazy about mindset work and all of the rest of it. And that kind of really is the foundation and grounding for where you're going to take your business, as we all know. But before we do that, I'm just going to share my screen because I was looking at this earlier and I honestly have never seen this board look like this. I'm so unbelievably proud of this team. And what we're starting to see is people who have been sitting in the wings a little bit, sort of starting to really flourish. But not only that, special mention to Tiff's team and Donna's team, who are really starting to replicate. And honestly, there is nothing that gives me more joy than to see people who, have been in the business for a little while. Donna's been a coach now for a year. And it's really now that her team and Donna is really starting to run. And I just wanted to congratulate that team and those guys because it's just so amazing to watch. So well done to Susan, who I don't think is on the call, Tiff, who phenomenally finished at Success Club 12. I think yesterday she was at Success Club 8. So she's been working away behind the scenes. Her coach, Louise, hit Success Club 10, Donna at 10, and then Tara almost at 10 at Success Club 8, which is just the most phenomenal achievement. We've got Steph, who's a brand new coach at Success Club, Jackie at Success Club, I think about 3 days ago. Donna, correct me if I'm wrong, she was at 0, if not 2 days ago. And this is why I decided to make this call about mindset, actually. It was a conversation I had with Jackie, and she said, Izzy, I listened to The Secret, and honestly, it's like changed everything for me. And she went from 0 to 6 in no time. So I'm going to cover off that more in a second. We've got SJ, who was determined to hit Success Club, but literally got to Success Club 4 in like the last couple of days of the month. Sarah Bowers at 2, one of Donna's coaches, Lisa at 2, Claire Murphy at 2, Lisa at 2, one of SJ's coaches, and Melissa, one of my new coaches, at 2. And I just want to say, guys, that was the most phenomenal achievement for the month. And it's just amazing to watch. And I also want to say, I'm just going to stop screen sharing, that if that's not you, like, just know that that can be you in no time at all. Donna, only the past kind of couple of months has really started to run, and look what that's done for her team. And she's been in the business for a year. And, I know we've been talking about this quite a lot recently. Lisa mentioned it actually on a Getting Started Right call the other week. And I thought it was so, so true. And also a Gary Vee training I was listening to earlier on. Your success is not an overnight success, okay? And so you're going to see new coaches come into the business and they will do well. But what is so, so important to see is that they continue to do well, and that we bear in mind that this isn't like a get-rich-quick scheme, number one. And number two, that your success isn't built overnight. And so there are going to be months where you're putting in the work and it doesn't seem to translate. But if you just stay committed to your why, and you stay committed to this, and you're consistent over time, I wrote a post about that yesterday, it will come to fruition. But it comes down to mindset, and we all know that. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this on the call today, as I said, was that Jackie actually sent me a message, I think 2 days ago, and she said, Izzy, I've listened to The Secret. It is the most phenomenal book. Thank you for sharing it. And now The Secret was a book that was recommended to me by a friend that lives down the road. She's a toddler mum like me. She lost her mum 3 weeks before me to cancer. So we're kind of like bound by that story, which is really sad, but we're quite close, and we can obviously resonate with one another quite a lot through the grief we've gone through and the ways that we feel on certain days. So we have this incredible connection. And I was going through like just a really tricky time in my personal life, probably about 2 months ago, and I saw her and she was like, you just look really stressed out. And I'm really worried about you. And she said, Izzy, just read The Secret. Now, she's not a coach. She's got nothing to do with coaching. She likes fitness. Maybe she'll be a coach one day. I think she probably will, but she's not at the moment. And she said, you need to listen to this book, The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. Now, you guys may or may not have listened to it or read it. I strongly advise listening, although I actually got my husband to read it. Like, can you believe that? If you guys know me and my husband, he's not up for PD at all. And suddenly his like property business is blowing up. And I was like, it's the secret, it's the secret. Anyway, she's got quite an irritating voice. I don't know whether anyone else agrees with me. She's a Kiwi, and she's like, some of the stuff she says is a little bit excruciating, but I think you have to just bear with it. And the biggest tip I can give anybody to success in this business is to have an open mind. And I think we all love to say that we've got an open mind, right? And I love to say that too, but I can be quite closed off. If I don't like the idea of something, I'm going to shut it down. That's just my personality, but I've learned to really be aware of that, right? That's my personality. I'll shut things down. If I don't agree with it, I don't agree with it. Don't want to hear it. I know better. Okay. That mindset doesn't serve me at all. It really, really doesn't. And that book, basically, it talks about the law of attraction, but it calls you out on the fact that actually, and it's quite, they even say in the book, it's quite controversial, but they say like every single circumstance that comes into your life, you've attracted to your life in some way, in the way that you have been thinking. And obviously that doesn't directly translate to the coach business, but you will know and see if you've been in this business for any period of time. And this was something Jason Diebold said actually when I was in the Bahamas trip. He's like, upline, one of the founding coaches. He said something that really, really got on my nerves at the time. And he said, you will only be successful long term in this business if all areas of your life are kind of happy, right? That you've kind of got those all areas sorted in some kind of degree. Now, we all talk about like balance in this business. If you want real success, particularly when you're building, there's not going to be balance. Okay. It's kind of balanced imbalance. And that really annoyed me at the time, but I've learned over the past kind of few months that actually that's so true. You will only be successful for so long if there's an area of your life that is kind of lacking, or that you're not pouring into, or that needs sorting out and you're kind of ignoring it. And I just want to say, like, every single person here, every single person on this team, your success is entirely linked to your mindset. And I might just get Tara, Donna, some of those girls that hit Success Club and Beyond this month, and I can almost guarantee that they will tell you that their success was down to deciding that they were going to do it, they believed in themselves, and they put in the action behind it. But if you are not kind of calling yourself out or recognizing what your own kind of limitations are in your mindset, and maybe you don't even know what they are yet, I really call to question whether or not you will ever be successful in this business unless you're willing to do that. And I'm saying that because I have a lot I have to work on. None of us are perfect. None of us. We all have weaknesses. We all have self-limiting beliefs. We all have ways in which we've been brought up that need attention in order to be happy, ultimately to be happy, and then to see success in this business. And I think that's something else I've learned. Like, the more that I've been on this mindset journey, the more that I'm genuinely so happy about my life, that I kind of relax about my business because I'm happy and content, because I've worked on those areas where perhaps I'm like, nah, that's fine. It's fine. And actually that really then, you suffer and struggle. And I think the other thing that I just want to say is, let's share some books in this call that have been amazing. Like I'm saying, listen to The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. You're a Badass by Jen Sincero. You all know I love that one, and I think it's incredible. But if anybody else has got recommendations, do you want to just pop them in the chat or unmute yourself now, and just tell us why you think it's a really good book? Because obviously, like, my recommendations aren't going to be the only ones that are going to be really, really amazing for your mindset. So does anyone want to like unmute themselves or add anything, or just type something in the chat? Grant Cardone. Yeah, absolutely. And that, thanks, Martha. The movie The Secret, I haven't even watched. I haven't managed to get my husband to agree to that yet, but I might have to watch that one on my own. Grant Cardone is incredible. He is a highly successful property like mogul in the States. He's quite tasty. I think some people will listen to him and they literally won't be able to bear him. I love him. He wrote the book Be Obsessed or Be Average and the 10x rule. And in Be Obsessed or Be Average, again, he's got some quite alternative views, which some people would think were kind of crazy. But he's like, if you aren't obsessed about what you're doing and you aren't genuinely excited and you literally aren't obsessed to go all in, you will be average. Hence the name of the book. That's basically it in a nutshell. Obviously, it's a little bit more detailed than that, but I just want to say to you guys that at the moment this team has such energy, there is such momentum, and that, as I said earlier on in the call, there are people who have just suddenly decided, do you know what, why not me? I'm going to do this. And they're running and they're going for it and they're believing in themselves, and they're not saying they haven't got time, and they're not saying they can't do it. They're working on that. They're creating time. And that was something that came up at NLC. Actually, there's so many of those coaches, the vast majority have full-time jobs. Okay, so if you're telling yourself that you can't be successful in this business because you have a full-time job, that is absolute BS. I think Donna is like the biggest example of that. And I know, like, I lead this team, so you guys don't see that immediately in this team because essentially I'm a stay-at-home mum and I top and tail the preschool for Arthur. But that's not the norm. And that might be the norm as you kind of get to like 5 and 10 star, you get 6 and 7 figures, but that isn't the norm. And it's making that decision, guys, that no matter if you've had a hard day at work, no matter if you've, got no energy left, that actually a lot of the time that is down to you. And I will give you guys everything that you need in terms of the resources, but you have to take control of your mindset. And I know we've got people here who just have the most phenomenal talent with this, but it's the mindset that gets in the way. SJ, as part of our Challenger group this month, we're reading The Happiness Project. SJ, do you want to is she there? I don't know if you're able to talk. I haven't heard anything about that book, but I have seen a lot about it on like social media. So I don't know whether you want to just briefly tell us. Hi.
Hi. Well, I'll be honest with you, I haven't read it yet. It was actually my coach Lisa who was suggesting it and was recommending it. So yeah, we just kind of like, I wanted to try and sort of tweak our challenge group a bit this month and try something different. So yeah, it's not very expensive on Amazon. So the people that are joining the challenge group, I'm actually gifting it to them as part of like buying a challenge pack basically. So yeah. I've started listening to the audiobook and it's really good, and it just gets you thinking about things that do and don't make you happy. So yeah, I'll let you guys know.
Thank you. That's amazing insight. And I think that's such a great idea. I've heard other coaches doing that, where they have like a book that people are listening to, which kind of adds the mindset to the physical piece. And that's something that I'm thinking of doing. I just haven't quite got around how that's going to work in my challenge group. But I love that, SJ. And I think this is the other thing. The people who are really starting to do well, that I see, who've perhaps been in the business a little while, or perhaps haven't, they're just changing things up. They are being their own leader. They're not coming to me and saying, Izzy, what do you think about that? They're just doing it. And half the time I didn't even know they're doing it. And that's great. That's what this needs to be, and it should be. And before I started this call, I was actually listening to Gary Vaynerchuk, and that I've shared it in the team page actually. And he was saying, like, for goodness sake, if you're doing something in this life and it's bringing you no joy and you're like, yay, happy Friday. He's like, sort it out. Like, you spend your whole life doing that. So if that's how you feel, sort it out. And this opportunity provides you with that. But if you're consistently telling yourself the story that you can let yourself off the hook because actually it doesn't matter because you've got another job, I'm afraid it's kind of you're never going to get it to that point. And I think, I was trying to think about how I could kind of get this across in the call today. And I thought to myself, well, actually think about when you came into this business, what you wanted for yourself out of this business, and have you perhaps lost that connection to what you initially came into this for? And sometimes we come into this just for our fitness journey, right? But we come into it and then we fall in love with the fitness journey, and we fall in love with it because of our own results, and that brings passion and happiness, and hence why we want to kind of build on that. So just really think about that, and think about, some of you guys might love your other job, and that's great. And that, I think about other successful coaches in the top 10, a lot of them have full-time jobs and they do this on the side, and that works really well for them. So just think about, what is it that you really want out of this business? Why is it you got so excited about it? Why is it that you show up on the team call every day? What is it? What's that vision? What brings you the excitement every day? How can you do more of that? But if you don't sit down today and you keep putting it off and you keep saying, do you know what, I'll do that tomorrow, and I'll look at my vision tomorrow, and I'll look at how, you know, what joy I get out of the business on a daily basis another day, your business will continue to just slide each month because you're not focusing on that stuff that actually fires you up. And like yesterday, I just changed the way I was working a bit, and I'd been in a bit of a lull over the past few weeks. And yesterday I sat down and I was like, I have so much fire and energy for this business. And I think personally, like I couldn't even think about why it was, but it's because I've loved bar. Like I have got the most phenomenal results out of bar. And it brings me great joy and excitement about the business again, because I love that program. And ultimately what sits at the core of our business is that program. And that's going to help you with your mindset. Because of course, if you're loving what you're pouring into every day, that's going to help you connect the two. So think about that. And I know I always say this, but think about whether you are connecting with the program you're doing. And quickly on programs, whilst I remember, 10 rounds, I shared the details on that. The sample workout comes on the 9th of March, and you can purchase that for coaches, I think, from the middle of March. So just think about with your challenge groups, how that's going to work, what program you want to do, whether you want to jump on that, and kind of what you're going to do in the interim. But just like, please promise me that you will go away and you will think about, right, okay, what worked in February? What worked really well? What if I didn't hit my goals? Why didn't I hit my goals? What did I let myself off the hook on? Because usually what you let yourself off the hook on is something that just becomes consistent and you're doing it over and over again. And unfortunately, that's going to sabotage your business as you move through. So call yourself out and audit your own business. Treat that business as the business that you want it to be. Because if you constantly give yourself excuses and you allow yourself to fall kind of off the hook, that business will never be what you'd envisaged it to be. And it is about leveling up. And I had a call actually with Tasha the other day, and we were talking. She was like, I'm ready to go for this now, and I'm really loving it, and I want to share more of the coaching. And she said to me, what did you do when you suddenly, went all in? And I said, I just called myself out on my BS. And I said, you know what? This isn't good enough. This isn't going to get me where I want to go. And so I'm going to level up. And I'm going to look at my business and I'm going to look at it and say, would somebody who was earning 6 or 7 figures do this? Would somebody that was earning 6 or 7 figures, would their grid look like this? What does this mean for my life? And am I treating it like the business that I want it to be? Are people going to be attracted to me? Am I going to attract my person with the way that I'm presenting this business opportunity? Is it clear what I'm doing? Am I showing up for my business in the way that I want this to be? Maybe you want it to be a full-time income, or maybe you want to, work your full-time job for kind of ever, and you want this to be like essentially an additional full-time income. But are you showing up in your business in the way that you're going to be able to have that happen? Like, imagine that you had like an auditor coming in on your business tomorrow, and you worked in corporate perhaps, and they said, oh, show me what you've been doing and why hasn't it been working? If that happened to you, would you be embarrassed about the way that you've been executing your business? Would you be able to recognize the spots that you actually haven't called yourself out on that you need to? And we can all do that. Like, I can call myself out on stuff that I definitely haven't done. So I think just getting into that mindset, and then I was speaking to Donna as well about, what's really helping her level up and things like that. And she said to me, when I was away, I didn't have much time to do PD, and it really affected the way that I felt about my business, because my mindset wasn't there. And that was just like 5-6 days of being away and not doing PD. So if you're telling yourself you're better than PD and actually you don't have time for it, it won't work. Like, the top coaches in the network are listening sometimes for an hour each day. And I certainly probably I just listen when I get out of the shower. So it's on play, and like Arthur might be listening to something whilst I get dressed, and I'm listening to something else. And then I'm driving him to preschool and I'm listening to it. We've all got pockets of our day where we can listen, but make that a priority and call yourself out on, okay, is it that I don't have, strong enough self-belief? Am I worried about what people think about me? Right. What book can I listen to or read? And if I don't know, let me just throw it out in the team page and let me take ownership and be that business owner. Yeah. Don't wait for your coach to tell you what book you need. Like, own it. So I'm going to pass on to Donna, unless anyone wants to add anything. Oh, Lisa's just put something here. Sorry, Beach Money by Jordan Adler. It's all about network marketing and how you can build a residual income. Oh yeah, I think you mentioned that one on the Business Builder call. I'm just going to photograph that whilst we're here because I actually didn't write it down last time. So hold on. Just the comments. But yeah, I'm going to let Donna just chat about something that's been working really well for her with the coach opportunity. So.
Hi. Yeah, so it's nothing like, I suppose, like game changing or anything, but I was basically just chatting to Izzy, I think this morning, and Leanne, who welcome Leanne to your first call. I know that hopefully that we literally just did a getting started call just before coming on here, so she's literally just started, bless her. So I did tell her, don't worry, we're going to talk a lot about PD, but yeah, she totally gets it and hopefully really excited about joining the team. But yeah, basically it was something that I was thinking about when I was away, and I realised, as I said, as he just said, I didn't really do a lot of PD because I was on holiday with my family. So actually I was happy anyway. So I guess had I done that at home, I know it would have affected my business. Whereas I think because I was just enjoying my family time and things like that, I just focused, like on doing, like, if I was going to do an hour, I was going to really do that hour and make it really work for me, I guess, in the time that I had. But when I was away, I was thinking about, I suppose, February and what I think has changed a little bit. And I think it's a couple of things. I think having Team Cup for people did really help, actually. I think that it was quite motivational for people, and having having that sort of like team effort and everybody having to work together for a goal was really, really good. I don't know if anybody else felt like that, but I think there was definitely times during the month where you were kind of going, do you know what, I can go for this, and it's not actually for you, it's for the wider team. And I think that was quite interesting one for me, watching my team who had their own little teams going off and doing that, which was lovely. But yeah, I think one of the things that I've I guess been doing with some of like my new coaches, I guess, and actually boot campers as well, is so when people have been contacting me and they're interested in becoming a coach, what I used to do was just kind of, because usually it was because people would much prefer you just to send a link with, a whole load of videos and things like that, or maybe to add them to a Facebook group with like a kind of sneak peek into coaching. But Leanne, I'm sure would tell you, I said to her, let's get on a call. I just want to talk to you directly, because she'd put in like some information, I guess, about a bit about her, and I immediately resonated with her story and like what she wanted to achieve. So the first thing I did was get on a call with her, and I talked her through, I guess, how it worked, and was just really, really honest about, you get out what you put into it, and things like that. And then after that, I just sent her like some links, etc. Like, this is what you would expect. This is, like, here's like the sort of sneak peek, I guess, after, rather than doing that before. And I'm hopeful. I mean, you're here, so I'm assuming that helped, I guess, having that sort of, like personal one-on-one. And I did that a few times over this week, because I guess my goal is now, my goal shifted a lot with this business, in that I'm officially going full-time in this business on the 6th of March. I finished my full-time corporate career and I'm going for this. So I guess for me, that I want to make sure that that anybody that's new, that's coming into the business, totally gets it and totally understands it. And if they're coming in, it's for the right reasons, and it's actually right for them, as well as actually the other way around. So I guess that talking to Leanne, I knew that I knew that, yep, she was going to totally get this, and she would really enjoy it. And the same thing with Stacey, who's just started, and Maria, Casey, she likes to be called, but Maria, who you've probably seen pop up a little bit on the team page. Like, we just absolutely got each other straight away, laughing and joking like old friends within about 10 minutes. And I think that's really, really helped. And part of why I'm talking about this is because in the Getting Started Right call that I hosted while Izzy was away, I talked a lot to the guys about just really talking to your avatar, like genuinely just getting rid of all the crap, and rather than trying to speak to everybody, just speak to who you were when you came into the business. And I got rid of all of it, and that's exactly what I've done in the months of sort of December, I'd say, right through to now. And it's been completely different for my business. Is everyone going to appreciate everything that I'm saying? No, but they're just going to switch off, and that's fine. I'm talking to Leanne, I'm talking to Tara, I'm talking to, you know, the people who I guess are going to get me, and when they come into the business, they're actually going to be interested in the business and actually wanting to help other people, because that's what I want to do. I genuinely want to help other people. And because I talk about that a lot, and I talk directly to, I guess, to mums, to, you know, to people who are in my situation, and I don't really talk about much else. I don't talk about necessarily the sort of, you know, the wider aspects of it, because actually that's not what interested me. I didn't want to, you know, like necessarily like travel the world and things like that. I'm getting to do that as part of the business, but that's not what my goal was. But that might be someone else's. So I just focus on speaking to that person right down the camera and speaking to them in my posts and things like that, and staying consistent, because I realized that actually by trying to do too many things, A, it's stressful, and B, you're not going to resonate with anyone really. You're just doing it it's too choppy. So basically, by the time then I get on my first call with someone who's interested in either a coach or boot camp, they know me, they get me, they 100% know exactly who I am. They know that I'm, you know, no bullshit, no holds barred, just, you know, straight down the line. This is what it is. This is what I do, and I want to help, and, you know, and I want you to be able to do the same. And it has, I think, me just becoming more confident with that over the last sort of 3 or 4 months has really, really helped. So now that I am going full time, it's made me realize that actually that's what works for me. Not saying it will work for you guys, and I think, you know, especially if you're brand new, don't let that freak you out. It's just that I would never have had the confidence to do that a year ago. I would have never had the confidence to do that 6 months ago, and it's just because now I can see really clearly like what my vision is for this business and who I want to, I guess, be on that journey with. So those are the people that I'm talking to, both client side and coach side, I guess. Does that make sense?
I think it's so huge, and I think that penny might drop, you know, 1 month in, and it might drop 2 months in, and it might drop a year in, and I think absolutely it makes sense. And I think when you start to talk to your person, you know, I talk to my person for the coaching who is corporate, you know, you'll see me talk about it at least once a week, like burnt out mum, toddler mum, hates corporate. I'll talk about it over and over again. And then, you know, for the boot camp, I'm talking to people who perhaps are, you know, struggled with eating all their life and, you know, just want to feel good. Like, it's not necessarily about the physical. So I think when you get clear on who you're talking to, and, you know, you look at me and Donna, for example, we're both completely different. Like, Donna will always talk to the mum tribe, you know, I've got you, I understand you. I don't do that so much because I'm not your mumsy mum, and I don't want to attract that person because I'm just different, and I want to attract corporate girls who perhaps aren't mums too. So it's interesting how we're all completely different, but think about your person. And also what Donna's amazing at doing, and this is something that I know you can all do, but really think about it when you post. It's humility. Like, what's in it for them, not what's in it for me, like big I am, what's in it for them. But she'll always talk about, this was me when I started and this is me now. That is always a post that's going to resonate, whether that's talking about coaching or boot camp. Because remember, and this is something I have to remind myself sometimes, like, people find it harder to relate to me as I get further into my coach journey, because they don't understand how you can go from X to Y if I'm not explaining what X is. And so remember why you came into it, even if that completely changes and evolves as you go through the coach business. But I think, you know, if you look at Donna's posts, I mean, you can tell she's worked in marketing as well. She is straight down the line. That's the way that she is in person. That's what you get in her posts. And that's the kind of person she's going to attract. So then when they come into her business, whether or not they're a boot camper or a coach, or a boot camper turning into a coach, they know what to expect from her. And I'd like to think the same is true of me. Like, I'm pretty straight down the line. I'm not wishy-washy. I say some pretty blunt stuff. That's the kind of leader I am. And I don't want to attract people into my business that then can't deal with that style of leadership. So think about that. Yeah. And Donna asked, like, Donna, you carry on. I'm going to let you carry on talking.
No, it's fine. I've just seen a question there. So what is your style of following up that works? I'm getting a lot of interest for coaching, but then I'm getting stuck after the 2 initial touch points. So I was just saying that I get I ask a lot of questions, I guess. If it's just someone that I'm talking to on Instagram, and that's what I say, you know, that you guys, you've probably heard me go on and on about it just now, like before, Izzy and I, again, like that's why it's so funny, like how well we get on, because actually we're so different when it comes to our style, and her style is totally different to mine. And mine is, I'm a relationship person, always have been. I want to be everyone's friend, and that's just who I am. So I very much like to get to know people. I ask a lot of questions because I'm genuinely interested. Like I'm not asking you about your kids just because I want to get a sale. And that's where the difference is. And not that Izzy does that, you know what I mean? Like, you know, if you were doing, like, I was talking to Leanne about makeup. If you're selling makeup, you're selling makeup, you know, like, it's not, it's a completely different thing. If I want to understand you, and I need to get to the crux of why you're even talking to me in the first place, why you're interested in my Instagram in the first place, you know, and is it because you've got kids and you're like me and you just quite like watching, you know, all the craziness of my toddler life, or is it that you're actually, you know, like, it's more about the eating part, and, you know, because I'm really open and honest about my experience with that? Or is it that actually you're interested in the coach side of things? And I just ask quite a lot of questions and kind of try and get to know someone. And you can get to know someone really quickly. It doesn't need to take a lot of time. If they are a sharer and I'm a sharer, then, you know, that people trust me, because of that, and that they know I'm not going to sell them bullshit. I'm not gonna, you know, like, sell them anything down the line. Like, this is actually about me getting to know someone, and I'm very much a believer that it's either for you or it's not. And if it's not for you, then it's not going to work. So if I don't ask those questions, then then I'm never going to get those answers, and then I'm also not going to be able to wade through some of the crap that we all tell ourselves. So the amount of people that come back to me and just tell me that they don't have time is constant, and I will always go, yes you do, next one. Yes you do, next one. Yeah, I've got a job, next one. I've got a kid, yeah, next one. What's your next one? Yeah. And it's because sometimes that's what people need to hear. They're not always going to like it, but if they are genuinely in the stage of life that they're ready to make a change, then sometimes you kind of need to call people on it. But you can't do that if you don't know them, anything about them. So, but that's just how I operate, and those are the people that talk to me. But like, the people that talk to Izzy are literally, yeah, I want to be a coach, boom, sign up, and they go for it. And
sometimes people watch me for a year.
Yeah.
My people, some of them will do that and some of them won't. But I think what Donna's just said is, I think sometimes we're so frightened, particularly in the beginning, of somebody telling us we're rude or it's none of our business, or we're worried about the response we're going to get. We're not actually true to who we are. And I think the best way to put it, and I'm sure Donna would agree, like, what would you be like in a conversation face to face? Well, I'm quite like, that's just the way I am, right? Unless I'm like with a best friend and there's a major crisis, and of course I'm not going to be like that, right? But that's just the way that I am, and that's the kind of person I am. So now when somebody's like, I don't have time, or they've told me, like, I've been voice clipping people today and follow up saying, you've been watching my stories now for like 8 months. When is it going to be time to join me? Because there's never been a right time yet. When's it going to happen? Like, kind of joking about it. And that's punchy, but that's me. And then they're like, do you know what? You're right. So
yeah, I also do that, just so you know as well. I do that as well, because again, that's where we're similar, is that I'm still straight down the line, and I'm like, do you know what, guys, you've been watching me for ages, you like everything that I put on, you've talked about coaching 30,000 times, and you keep coming up with excuses. What is actually going on? Seriously, what is going on? Yeah, what's wrong? What are you doing?
I love it. But I think that's the thing. And I think the other thing I want to share, and I spoke about the book, I think it was last week, The Power of Vulnerability by Brene Brown. And she's like a psychologist. It's very like geeky book, but I'm into like all that geeky psychological stuff. But it's really quite in depth on why we don't share vulnerability, because we're scared, because we've been vulnerable before and we've got hurt, but actually that people really need to see that. And I know that with my mum's death personally, I don't share a lot about it, because actually I'm still really vulnerable about it and it still really hurts. But there are days when it does really hurt, and there are days when I'm like, I haven't shared that, but I've reached a point where when those days happen now, I share it. And I shared a post, you guys may have seen it 2-3 days ago, and this could be anything in your life. It could be like Donna's situation with her abusive situation with eating, you know, that resonates with people. And I shared that post 3 days ago, and my inbox blew up. I had people telling me they'd lost both parents. I had people telling me they'd lost a parent. They said they understood. They, you know, that, and I built immediate connection with those people, because actually, remember, those vulnerable sides of you are vulnerable sides of other people, and they're what make you you, and they're what build that connection, and what makes you so relatable to somebody, so that when they do come into your team or they come into your boot camp, they get you and you get them. And you know, I have quite a few coaches and boot campers in my business who've lost a parent, and that's because I've shared it and they've related to me. And actually, when they come into my business, I kind of get them in a way that we don't even need to talk about it. We just understand each other, and that's magical. But if you don't share your vulnerability, you're not going to ever get that magical thing that you can subconsciously share, even if you don't talk about it. I just wanted to share that. Was there anything that anybody else wanted to like add or ask? Marty asked, are there certain locations or hashtags you're focusing on? Was that a question for Donna or me or both of us? So I'll tell you how my business works. And this is, again, like, this will be, if you put Donna and I side by side, very different. Donna's speaking to her UK crowd a lot. I love the travel. I love the USA. I love the global piece. I love the global team piece. You'll see me talk about that all the time. And actually, you will see, like, I travel quite a lot to the States, obviously because of the trips. And as you guys build, you're going to do that. And so actually, if I look at my demographic, I post in different locations. So what Instagram notices, and I think you guys all know this, but I will just say it, that it notices the pixelation of your photo and where and when it was taken. So if you post a photo that was taken in one place and you post it as another, Instagram doesn't like that. So I post as much as I can, kind of 1 in 3 will be in the States, because I'm trying to attract those American Canadian coaches as well. And that works really well for me. So actually 55% of my demographic on Instagram are from the States and Canada, which kind of shocked me initially, but actually I suppose it comes as no surprise then, because I'm talking about the global piece. Hashtags, I change them up with every post. I think we all know we should do that. I notice when I'm not being lazy and I put hidden location tags in my stories, I get a lot more people watching my stories. So I don't know if you guys do that or know that, but when you do your stories, you can put the location in and hide it so you can't see it, but it's going to attract all of those people in that location. Or maybe you're in, like, I don't know, Lululemon in London, and you hide that, or just as an example. That works quite well. And it really does. I'll just share, like, when I'm away, I have 3 times as many people watching my stories. And that's why I was saying to Guy actually the other night, I need to make sure I get out of the country once a quarter for my business. I need to get out of the country once a quarter for my business, because I have 3 times more engagement when I'm not in the UK. And you know, Donna's just been away, and I think she's had quite a lot of engagement. I'm sure she'll probably agree. Yeah. So, you know, yeah, if you're serious about the business and you like to travel, then yeah, go for it. Travel, because that is, you know, when you go to Summit, for example, if you look at who's watching the stories, you'll see it will blow up. And that's why you guys want to go on these trips and you want to get on them, because it's proof of what we're saying is there. To boost your posts, yeah, I would just look into social media trainings on YouTube. Like, that's obviously pretty basic, but over and above that, you know, hashtags, I don't spend a lot of time researching them, although I know there are people on this team who have, like SJ has done a training. I can't remember what she's called. She purchased a training where she talked about hashtags. SJ, I don't know if you're there. She might be the little one, but I've forgotten what she was called. Sam. I can't remember her surname. I'll get the details for you, Marty, because that training was really good on hashtags, and I actually got access to it. Was there anything else anyone wanted to ask or add? No. Oh, the one you posted last week of the coach for engagement was excellent. Was that Coach Jace? Yeah. And just, you know, 1st of March, guys, please promise me, don't sabotage your own business. Look at what went right. Look at what went wrong. Look at what you let yourself off the hook on. We have a lot of you guys pushing for Diamond by the end of March. We have our Diamond retreat. Now's the time, and it is the busiest time right now, these 2 quarters, first 2 quarters. I'm going to just, some of the business builders, I'm just going to share a bit more of the NLC training. So if we can just do a boomerang, we've got quite a lot of people not on visual. So I don't know if any of you guys not on visual can come on to visual just for a quick second. Okay. Right, sorry, just my screen is dirty, my camera rather. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Well done, guys. Well, thank you for coming on. I'm going to stop recording now. And you guys who are business builders, if you can just stay on, we'll probably be like about 15-20 minutes for the business builders. Don't want to keep you all night.